I asked AI a simple question that most people are too afraid to ask themselves. How can I save $1,000 as fast as possible without earning more money, without working extra hours, and without doing anything illegal or extreme? And what it gave me was not just a list of budgeting tips, but a psychological breakdown of how money actually disappears from our lives every single day. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people do not have a money problem. They have an awareness problem, and I was one of them. I thought I was bad at saving, or that I simply did not make enough. But AI showed me something shocking. It showed me that small daily decisions, almost invisible ones, were quietly draining hundreds of dollars from my account every month. And the worst part was, I barely noticed them. So I decided to turn this into a 30-day experiment. I would follow exactly what AI told me to do and track every dollar. No excuses, no adjustments, just pure execution. And my goal was simple. Save $1,000 as fast as possible. The first thing AI did was not tell me to cut coffee or stop having fun. Instead, it asked me to analyze my last 60 days of transactions, every single one, and categorize them into needs, wants, and leaks. And that third category changed everything, because leaks are not obvious luxuries. They are recurring subscriptions you forgot about, delivery fees you barely notice, random impulse purchases under $20 that feel harmless but compound over time. And when I added them up, I realized I was losing between $250 and $400 per month without realizing it. AI then created 5 rules that I had to follow strictly, and rule number 1 was the 4-8-hour rule for non-essential purchases, which means if I wanted to buy anything that was not food, rent, or bills, I had to wait 48 hours before making the purchase. And what surprised me was how many things I completely forgot about after those 2 days, proving that most impulses are temporary emotions disguised as needs. Rule number 2 was cancel 3 subscriptions immediately. No debating, no maybe later. Just cancel them. And when I checked my bank statements, I found streaming services I barely used, an app subscription I forgot existed, and a premium membership I signed up for during a free trial months ago. And just like that, I freed up nearly $60 per month. Rule number 3 was what AI called the $10 Daily Awareness Challenge, which meant that every day I had to consciously save or avoid spending at least $10, whether that meant cooking instead of ordering food, skipping an unnecessary snack, or walking instead of paying for transport when possible. And while $10 sounds small, multiplied over 30 days, that alone becomes $300. Rule number 4 was no spend weekends, meaning from Friday evening to Sunday night, I could not spend money unless it was absolutely essential. And this forced me to get creative with entertainment. I cooked at home, went for walks, read books I already owned, watched free content, and realized that fun does not have to cost money. Rule number 5 was sell 5 unused items in my home within the first 2 weeks. And this was powerful not just financially but mentally, because it turned clutter into cash and reminded me how many things I buy that eventually become useless. During the first week, I felt motivated but uncomfortable. Because awareness can be painful, I noticed every time I almost ordered food out of laziness. Every time I wanted to buy something online just because I was bored, and I started seeing spending as emotional behavior rather than logical necessity. By the end of week 1, I had already saved over $250 between canceled subscriptions, avoided impulse buys, and selling unused items. And that was the moment I realized saving money is not about being rich, it is about being intentional. Week 2 became more psychological, because the excitement wore off and temptation increased, especially when I saw friends going out or social media showing new gadgets and clothing. But the 4-8-hour rule protected me again and again, because when you delay gratification, you give logic time to defeat impulse. Something unexpected also happened. I started enjoying the challenge. Tracking my savings daily became like a game. Watching the number grow created dopamine in a healthier way than spending did, and I realized that humans are wired for progress, not consumption. By week 3, I had crossed $700 saved, and I had not worked extra hours or sacrificed basic happiness. I had simply redirected money that was previously leaking away, and I began to understand something deeper. Money responds to attention. When you ignore it, it disappears, but when you observe it, it behaves. AI then suggested an additional mindset shift that changed everything. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" I should ask, "Is this aligned with my goal?" Because affordability is about current balance, but alignment is about future direction. And that question alone prevented multiple unnecessary purchases. By week 4, I crossed the $1,000 mark faster than I expected, and the real shock was not the amount. It was how simple the system was. There was no extreme budgeting spreadsheet, no complicated investment strategy, just 5 behavioral rules consistently applied. But the biggest lesson was not financial, it was psychological. I learned that most people are not broke because they lack opportunity. They are broke because they lack structure. And structure creates clarity, and clarity creates control. I also noticed my confidence increasing because every time I resisted an impulse, I proved to myself that I was capable of discipline, and discipline in one area spills into others. I started being more focused with my work, more intentional with my time, and more conscious of how I used my energy. The experiment also revealed something uncomfortable about modern society. We are constantly encouraged to consume, upgrade, subscribe, and compare, and this system benefits when we stay distracted and impulsive. But when you step back and question every expense, you break that pattern. Another surprising outcome was that I did not feel deprived. In fact, I felt lighter because I stopped chasing small pleasures and started building a larger goal. And the $1,000 became symbolic. It represented proof that change is possible quickly when behavior shifts. Now, here is the most important part. This was not about becoming cheap or never enjoying life. It was about building awareness and creating boundaries. Because once you master saving $1,000, you realize the same principles can help you save $5,000 or $10,000, and eventually invest that money into assets that generate income. AI did not magically create money for me. It revealed what was already within my control. And that is a powerful realization because many people feel trapped financially, when in reality, they are simply unconscious of their patterns. If you are watching this and thinking you cannot do this because your income is too low, remember that this experiment required zero extra income. It only required observation and consistency. And consistency beats intensity every time. The biggest transformation was how I now see spending decisions as votes for the type of life I want to build. Every dollar either supports my future or satisfies a temporary emotion. And once you frame it that way, saving becomes empowering instead of restrictive. By the end of the 30 days, I did not just save $1,000. I built a system I can repeat. And that is the real win, because one-time savings fade, but repeatable systems compound. So if you want to try this yourself, start with awareness. Analyze your last 60 days. Categorize your expenses. Implement the 4-8-hour rule. Cancel unnecessary subscriptions immediately. Commit to a daily savings target. Create no-spend windows. Sell unused items. And most importantly, track your progress visibly, because what you measure improves. And here's the final truth that AI indirectly taught me. Financial freedom does not start with earning more. It starts with controlling behavior, because income expands opportunity, but discipline protects it. And without discipline, no amount of money will ever feel like enough. Saving $1,000 fast is not about the number. It is about proving to yourself that you can change your habits quickly when you decide to. And once you prove that, you unlock a level of confidence that money alone cannot buy. So the real question is not, can you save $1,000? The real question is, are you willing to confront your patterns for 30 days? Because if you are, you might discover that the biggest financial breakthrough of your life was not hidden in a raise, a lottery, or a side hustle, but in the quiet, daily decisions you once ignored and now choose to control. And here's the part most people do not expect. The real transformation did not happen in my bank account. It happened in my identity, because once I proved to myself that I could control small financial decisions consistently, I stopped seeing myself as someone who struggles with money and started seeing myself as someone who builds systems and follows through. And that shift in identity is more powerful than any budgeting trick, because behavior always follows identity. When you begin to identify as a disciplined person, saving money becomes natural, investing becomes logical, and long-term thinking becomes automatic. The $1,000 was just the beginning. It became a foundation, an emergency buffer, a symbol of control, and more importantly, a reminder that change does not require perfection. It requires commitment. Imagine repeating this process every few months. Imagine stacking these wins year after year. That is how ordinary people quietly build financial stability, while others remain stuck in cycles of impulse and regret. So if this challenge resonates with you, do not just watch, act. Because information without action changes nothing. But action, even imperfect action, changes everything. Start today, start small, and prove to yourself that your future is not controlled by income alone, but by discipline, awareness, and the courage to take control of your decisions. Because once you master that, saving $1,000 is no longer impressive. It is inevitable.